Okay. And we're continuing on part 4 of week 2's class on taxes. Now, we were leaving off on what a W-4 is for those beginners in taxes, right? Because the U.S. income tax system is built on the idea of voluntary compliance. Okay? It's the responsibility of you, the taxpayer, to keep the necessary records, to file a return on time, pay any required taxes, and meet other requirements of the tax law. That's just until the orange agent got into office. That's just what was expected. But anyway, taxpayers voluntarily follow the steps the tax system lays out. Now, not doing so can result in penalties. All right? Listen. Most people pay through the pay-as-you-go system, okay? So you need to understand that most people's income is from salary, young people, I'm talking to young people or people that are not familiar. But you need to understand that most people's income is from like salary or wages earned in a job. Now, in the pay-as-you-go method, the tax paid as income is earned or received during the year. For example, an employer withholds tax on the basis of wages paid and information that the employee provides on the W-4 form. Okay. This process is called tax withholding. Okay. Without tax withholding, many people would find it very difficult to save enough money to pay their own income taxes all at once. Okay. So, government services might be disrupted and upended if we didn't fund it using a continuous basis tax situation that we got going on here, right? So I don't know if you're familiar, but this is a W-4 form. Okay, you can visit IRS forms pages and you see what this looks like. Why do you think employers need a form W-4? Okay, well the answer is the form helps the employer determine how much to withhold from the employee's paycheck. Okay, because this is the things that could happen if you don't write your Social Security correctly, if you're using a nickname that's different from the one that's on your Social Security card, or you make a mistake on the address. This incorrect information might delay or even prevent your tax return from coming, your tax refund. And because it won't be perceived as the proper credit. You might not even receive the proper credit you get for Social Security taxes that you paid, okay? So you don't want anything incorrect on the W-4. On this W-4. Also, the W-4 reminds employees basically to keep your worksheet part of your W-4. Keep the worksheet part of their form W-4 for their own financial records. So keep a copy of this, okay? Now, other items you might want to keep is your pay stubs. Like I said, statement of interest or dividends earned, and records of any gifts, tips, and bonuses. Also, your spending record. That includes canceled checks, receipts from the cash register receipts, credit card statements, and rent receipts, that kind of thing. But basically, just create a simple-ass system for recording your finances. Put it in a small envelopes work. Little accordion boxes, filing cabinets, whatever it takes. But make sure you understand your system, right? All right, let's keep it pushing. Okay, students, what are wages? Okay. Well, I'll tell you, wages are compensation received by employees for the services they performed. What is the difference between wages and salaries? I'll tell you. Wages are usually based on an hourly pay rate, and salaries are a fixed sum that's paid for a specific period of time. Does anyone receive tip income? And if yes, why do they receive tips? Question answered. Yes, people receive tip income. Tips are received as a gratuity for services performed. Tips go beyond the stated amount of the bill and are given voluntarily. Side note, some countries don't even give tips because they pay their employers the wages that they deserve. But anyway, I digress. Are tips taxable? Question answer. All tips are taxable. Another question. What information is reported on W-2? Well, W-2s report wages, salary, tips, and federal income tax withheld, as well as Social Security, Medicare, or tax withheld, right? Now, tips are money and goods received by food servers, baggage handlers, hairdressers, and others as a gratuity for services performed. And employers report wage, salary, and tip income on the W-2 under the wage tax statement. All right? So, here's an example. Medicare wages and tips. See that? Social Security, tips. Social Security, wages and tips. This is an example of what your W-2 would look like, okay? Now, this guy, the kitchen corner, whatever, employer ID, and anyway, but this is what your W-2 would typically look for, young people, if you're new to taxes. So just to reiterate, just to give you a background, wages, salaries, bonuses, and commissions are compensations that are received by you, an employee, for services you perform. These are food servers, baggage handlers, hairdressers, and others that receive tips or as gratuities for services performed. Listen, wages, salaries, bonus, commissions, and some tips, they may be in the form of cash, maybe in the form of goods and services, awards, or taxable benefits. They are taxable and need to be reported on the taxpayer's individual income tax return, and they are reported on a W-2 form, which is the wage and tax statement. Employers report their federal income taxes that they withheld, and the Social Security tax that they withheld, and the medical tax that they withheld on your W-2. Now, employees use the W-2 to complete their individual income tax returns, and this is what you use. This is what you give them. All wages, salaries, bonuses, commissions, and tips are taxable, even if they're not reported on a W-2. I mean, like I said, if you don't know what a bonus is, that's compensation received by an employee for services performed. A bonus is given in addition to an employee's usual compensation. Commission, that's compensation received by an employee for services performed. Commissions are paid based on a percentage of sales made or fixed amount per sale. What is a salary? We discussed what that is. It's compensation received by an employee for services performed. A salary is a fixed sum paid for a specific period of time worked, such as a weekly or monthly type of thing. And then you have tip income, and that's money and goods received for services performed by food servers, baggage handlers, hairdressers, and others. Tips go beyond the stated amount of the bill and are given voluntarily. And like I said, in some countries, they just pay their workers their wage. And so tips aren't even really needed in other countries. Wages. Again, wages are compensations received by employees for services performed. Usually wages are computed by multiplying an hourly rate, pay rate, by the number of hours worked, right? All right, class, to summarize, wages and salaries and bonuses and commissions and tips are taxable. Employers report these types of income on a W-2 form, which is called the wage and tax statement. All right? Listen, all tip income is taxable, even if it's not reported on your W-2. Employees use your W-2 to basically complete your individual income tax returns. So, remember that. That's the whole point of all of this, right? See you in the next video anyway. See you next video.